Hey everybody, welcome to Picks and Parlays right here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network, where we're broadcasting live every Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern and 1 p.m. Pacific. My name's Allie Burns. I'm going to be your host today. You can find me on Twitter at @PlusMoneyHoney, and you can find Picks and Parlays just about anywhere you're at on the web. Check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and don't forget to visit the mothership, picksandparlays.net. That's where we keep 35 of the world's finest handicappers. They're armed and ready with all the information that you need to make some money betting on sports. Good news, you're going to get to meet 3 of them today. I've got a ton of free picks for Tuesday, March the 10th. We're going to start off the show with a little NHL rapid fire with Chip Chirimbes himself. I've also got Tony Brown, the Triple B, here in the studio. We're going to talk some NBA action. We're going to find out about some funny bet he's got, why he's not allowed to shave. We'll wrap things up with Mr. March himself, the Lord of the Big Dance, Joe Duffy. He's going to talk some college basketball with us. Guys, I spent my entire weekend at the Mountain West tournament. It was a fantastic experience, and it was just a little taste of what's to come with some of these bigger conference tournaments that we're going to see coming up this week. So now is the time you're really going to need to buckle down and get some good information if you want to be making money through this really tumultuous time in college basketball. I would like to wish everybody a happy March the 10th. It's National Pack Your Lunch Day. Let me tell you, some of these teams and the matchups today are going to need to pack a lunch because it's going to be a long day, okay? A lot of lopsided stuff, but sometimes that's the best place to make your money. Speaking of money, got to talk about value, right? Because betting on sports has really nothing to do with picking the right team. It's all about picking the right value. So go to picksandparlays.net, check out our 35 handicappers, and when you get your cart all filled up with everything that you need, use the promo code BALLER. BALLER will save you 15% on anything that is in your cart. So grab yourself a pen, grab yourself a paper. We're going to have a really good show today, and you're going to want to take notes. Unless, of course, you're driving, don't take notes. If you're driving, don't worry. At the end of the show, I'm going to wrap everything up and let you know who to bet on. All right, we will be right back with Chip Chirimbes and the NHL Rapid Fire. Hey guys, and welcome back. As promised, I've got Chip Chirimbes here. How you doing, Chip?
Just wonderful. How you doing, Allie?
I'm rocking and rolling, man. I'm excited.
I can see that.
It's a good part of the year right now.
Yeah, it is.
It's fun.
It is.
All right, so we've got NHL Rapid Fire. I got a lot of games to get through, so we got to pow them right out, all right?
We'll do it.
So I'm going to start off with Tampa Bay and Toronto. Both of these teams doing all right. Tampa Bay is 43-26. They've got 92 points. They're averaging about 3.5 goals a game, which is pretty impressive. They've won 3 of their last 5, but their last one was a loss at Detroit, 5-4. Pretty decent road team, though. They're 21-10-4 on the road. That's where they're going to face the Maple Leafs, 35-34, 79 points. They're averaging just under 3.5 goals a game. They've only won 2 of their last 5. And at home, they're 17-9-7. I'm showing Tampa Bay -115, Toronto -105, but I'm seeing some reverse line movement on the Maple Leafs.
You know, Toronto is a pretty high-scoring team. They're 4th in the NHL. They just come off a road trip where they really had trouble putting the puck in the net, going 0 for 14 on power plays. Ooh. And but they come home where, you know, they've been fairly decent unless you're laying the puck line. 11 and 22 on the season at home. On the puck line for them. And if you look at Tampa Bay, they're 6-1 at Toronto the last 6 times they've been there. Though as an underdog, the Lightning are 6-14 on the money line. But it looks like they're a small favorite here, Allie. So I think if you're gonna use all the stats, 8-2 to the over in the last 10 for the Lightning, 6-4 to the over for Toronto. Maybe that's a way to go. But in a virtual pick'em situation, I think Tampa has the edge. They play better as a favorite anyway, and they're a better team all around, and I think they have the edge here over Toronto.
All right, that's a good number. $1.15 for a good team like the Lightning, not bad at all. I like your pick.
Toronto's coming back home after that road trip. They're going to play 5 in the next 6 at home, and usually they like to get off to a good start, so it should be a great battle.
All right, I like it. Yeah. All right, another free NHL pick for Tuesday, March the 10th. We're going to do Nashville and Montreal. Nashville 34-34 with 76 points. They have won 2 in a row. I think that's because Ryan Ellis is back after after breaking his foot in the Winter Classic. Coming off a win at Dallas, 1-0. They're going to face Montreal 31-39. They've got 71 points, but they have lost 2 in a row. But they have played their last 3 on the road. Yeah. Coming off a loss at Florida 4-1. I'm showing them Nashville -115, Montreal -105. What do you think about this one?
I'm not a big Canadian fan this season from what I've seen out of them so far. 14-24 at home using the puck line, and that's a huge disparity from their overall record, which is virtually at 500. Nashville comes in a small favorite. They're 5-2 in the last 7 at Montreal, including winning the last 4 meetings between these two. You know, the favorite between these two is 8-2 in the last 10 meetings. I hope to see Nashville remain the favorite, and I would think they were the side. But these two teams have also played 13-2-1 to the under in the last 16 meetings, no matter where they were, and they've gone under the last 8 meetings in Montreal. So it's unusual for me, Allie, to like to take 2 sides on a game because I hate to root against myself. You know, so often in football happens. But here, I think there's 2 sides that are available for everybody out there. Maybe you choose which one you like better. But I think Nashville's probably the side over the Canadians, and I think the under is definitely a play as well.
All right, Nashville and the under. Would you parlay those or keep them
No,
separate?
I'd rather not. You know, like I said, you're always rooting against yourself.
All right, so we're going to get another free pick. Pitt and New Jersey Devils. The Penguins are 39-29. They've lost 2 in a row, only won 2 of their last 5. Coming off a loss versus Carolina, 6-2. They're 3rd in the Metro, but they've kind of been in this weird skid for a while. They're trying to get out. They look like they do, then they don't. Now they're going to be playing New Jersey. The Devils are 28-40. They've won 2 in a row, coming off a win at the Rangers 6-4. Dead last in the Metropolitan. Showing a lot of movement on this game. The Penguins were -64, now they're 190. Jersey was +149, now 165. What do you have to say about that,
I have to say what you mentioned earlier in the show to open the program, and you were talking about value.
Right.
Now this looks like a great spot for value. Pittsburgh has only won 2 of the last 10 outright.
Right.
They're 3-7 in the last 10 meetings against the Devils. 8-18 overall at New Jersey. And New Jersey's no prize this year. They're in the same category as, say, the Montreal Canadiens. You know, they're just going to be chugging along. Right. But as a dog, they're 7-3. And at home, in the last 47 meetings, they've beaten Pittsburgh 32 times. So I think this is your value dog. We gave you one last week plus $1.40, and we won that one. And I think that the Devils have a shot today against the Pittsburgh Penguins.
The Penguins. All right. Let's do another one.
I'm with you.
This is 2 really good teams, all right? Boston and Philly.
Yep.
The Bruins are 43-26. They've won 4 of their last 5, but they're coming off a loss against Tampa Bay 5-3. They are number 1 in the Atlantic, 21-10-3 on the road. They're going to play Philly. Philly's 41-27. They won all 5 of their last 5. 10 in a row to be exact. Last one was versus Buffalo, 3-1. They're 2nd in the Metro, 25-5-4 at home. And I'm showing it at Pick'em.
Well, that's because you have 2 really good teams playing here, and you said Boston's leading the conference, but this should be a great one with Philadelphia having won 9 of the last 10, and Boston has lost 7 of their last 10. And They're 1-4 at Philly in the last 5 times they've been there, and Philadelphia's beaten them 4 straight times overall. This Philadelphia home ice advantage has really been great. The series has gone 8-3-1 in their last 11. I'm going to take the Flyers here. The Broadway Bullies, that's a long time ago when they were Broadway Bullies. But I can see Philadelphia rising here against Boston. But there's always been a great rivalry between these two. And I think it's going to be a tough, hard-nosed game. And I think Philadelphia is going to come to play. And that's the side I would take right here.
All right. You heard the man.
How
Take
about that?
Philly. Pick 'em. All right. We're going to move for another free NHL pick, Ottawa and Anaheim. Now, both of these teams stink, all right? As my stepdad would say, they stink on ice.
K-Poots.
Yeah. And it works here because they're actually on ice. All right, so Ottawa is 25-44. They've got 62 points. They have won their last 2, but they're I don't know what that says. Last one was at San Jose, 2-1, but they are a horrid road team, 7-19-6 on the road. They've got a really old goalie in Craig Anderson. He's 38. This could be their X factor because he's kind of on his swan song, but who really knows? The Ducks, 28-41 with 65 points. They've won 2 of their last 5. They just lost against the Wild 5-4 at home. They're a little better than Ottawa is on the road, 15-14-5. A lot of movement, a lot of reverse line movement here. Ottawa plus 133 down to 120. Anaheim minus 147 to minus 140.
I don't know why they'd be fading this Anaheim team as bad as Ottawa is here. You know, their poor road record, other than the fact that they're 5-1 as a dog the last 6 times out, and 5-2 in the series other at home against Anaheim. You take them and you put them on the road, and all of a sudden they're 3-9 in the last 12 at Anaheim. But the last 6 meetings, no matter where they were played between these two, went under the total. With the lack of talent between these two, I can see it going under again. There's not going to be any big flash or any glory here. Play the Ducks, and Ottawa Senators will stay under.
Yep, there you go. Play the Ducks and the under. Okay, so we've got one more to go, and I lost it.
If that's all you want, we can. You were talking about the Islanders and Vancouver. Was
yes,
that the one
we
you
were. Oh, here we go. Here it is. Swear to God, I know what I'm doing.
She does.
Okay, so both of these teams are kind of like hanging on to a thread for playoff dreams. The Islanders have had a really hard time winning in March. They're 35-32, 79 points. They've lost 6. 6 straight. The last one was versus Carolina, 3-2. On the road, they're 18-12-2, so not so bad. They're going to go into Dallas, 25-33. They've lost 4 of their last 5. Last one was versus the Blue Jackets.
Well, they're going into Vancouver. It's the Rangers that are going into Dallas.
Oh, goodness.
Right? We know
They're
about
going
that.
into
But you know what?
Vancouver.
Vancouver's come up the favorite here.
Right.
And they've won 7 of the last 8 times they've been favored in this series. And the over has gone 6-1-1 in the last 8 meetings. You know, Chelsea, excuse me, there's my faux pas, right? Ali.
We're just all a little backwards.
The Islanders have only won 2 of the last 10 outright, and they've won 6 of the last 8 in this series. But I think the Canucks at home are the side here. They've come up favored, and the favorite has dominated the series, winning 7 of 8. So that's the way we'll go there. And if you still want to talk about the Rangers and the Stars, we can do that too.
We are unfortunately out of time.
There we go.
That's why we call it a rapid fire, guys. We were 4-2 last week with Chip in the NHL rapid fire. So check him out. Well, check out those picks tonight. Check out his packages on picksandparlays.net, and check us out next week when we do this all over again. We'll be right back. Hey guys, how's it going? We are back with Tony Triple B, Bookie Buster Brown. How you doing?
Good. How you been?
I'm kicking it, I'm doing my thing. I got some NBA picks.
So do I.
All right,
Let's do
excellent.
it.
I've got some information here. So our first game, we're going to do Boston and Indiana.
Right.
Boston is slumping right now. They are slumping hardcore. They've lost 4 of their last 5. Jaylen Brown's still out. Just lost against OKC 105-104. The Pacers on the other hand,
Rolling.
are freaking hot. So this is one of those who's hot and who's not. They've won 4 of their last 5. All 5 of those were on the road. Just beat Dallas 112-109 in a pretty controversial game that really ticked off Luka.
Yeah, they beat the brakes off of Luka, man. They bloodied him up in that one.
Yep. How do you get kneed in the jaw, man? He got kneed in his jaw.
It's the Michael Jordan, the Kobe rules. Like, when you're the best, they're going after that guy, and they've been claiming he's the MVP and giving him all this hype. So they're like, welcome to America, Luka.
I love that guy, though. I love him.
Yeah, he's good.
I know Luka's from Washington, D.C. Anyway.
No.
But I'm showing Boston as a favorite here, -1.5. And then a lot of line movement on the total, 217 to 215. So what do you think about this one?
Well, I mean, that's tough. That's a false favorite. Jaylen Brown is the key that makes Boston go. You know what I mean? And, like, without him, it's going to be tough sledding. And like you said, this is a momentum thing. Boston's lost 4 of the last 5. Indiana won 4 of their last 5. And they're mad. Indiana is not supposed to be where they are. People have wrote them off for this season.
Yeah.
So they're only 3 games off the pace behind Boston. They bloodied up Luka in their last game. Like, they mean business. So, you know what I mean? I think they're going to take it personal being underdogs at home. And I like getting the 1 point with them. I think they win straight outright.
I do, too. I like that money line. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move to not so hot team, or one not so hot team and another pretty hot team. The Nets, Brooklyn, 29-34. They've won 2 straight. Right. Last one was versus the Bulls, 110-107. On the road, they're 11-20, so not great. And they're going in to play the Lakers at home. 49-13. They've won 4 straight. Last one was at the Clippers, where they were actually a dog, weren't they? A 2-point dog against the Clippers. They smashed them 112-103. Home record of 23-7. They've already clinched the playoff berth. I'm showing the Lakers -11.5, 223.5 as the total.
Yeah, just go ahead and take the Lakers and run it up. I mean, you asked me about Lakers versus Milwaukee. I told you we beat the Bucks. You know what I mean? The Bucks are the best team in the NBA. They have the best record, but I told you we beat the Bucks. They asked me about the Lakers and the Clippers. They keep saying the Clippers beat us twice and all this new LA talk. I told you we beat the Clippers.
Yeah, he did say that.
And
I was here.
We're going to just beat them too. It's going to be like target practice. You
but
know
are they
going
to beat them by 12 points?
Of course. It's like target practice. LeBron is in like playoff mode right now. It's like March Madness in the pros. He's unstoppable. Anthony Davis is unstoppable. The Nets, they're getting doubled up on the road. They're 11-20, so they're losing at a 2-1 pace. They're built for Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, who are both out. So this is just a glitch in the road for the Lakers, and we're going to win this one by like 20.
What was I hearing about LeBron and the MVP thing? Like, is he going to be the MVP, or is he just expecting that he's going to be the MVP?
So here's my thing with that. LeBron is always the MVP. It's like Michael Jordan, you know what I mean? Like, they just didn't want to give it to him some years just because they were tired of giving it to him. Who's the best player
he's
on the
new shelves
I'm just saying, like, he's the best player on the best team. He's putting the team on his back. He's almost 50 years old. You know what I mean? Like,
is he really? No, he's not.
He's not that old, but he's getting up there. He's he leads the league in assists. Like, LeBron rightfully is the MVP. He's always in the candidacy. He's always like the right choice. But they say Giannis could win it too, and I wouldn't be mad.
I like Giannis a lot.
Yeah, he's all right.
I could pass on LeBron.
Oh, shit.
I don't like players that didn't go to college, okay? That's how I get to know you as a player. You went to college. Now I know you, and now you're in the NBA. I don't know him.
So you're faulting him for being
the only one that
good?
gets a pass is Moses Malone. He's the only player that I'm okay with not going to college.
I wasn't born then.
Oh, my gosh. I'm so old. Okay, so we're going to move along to another free NBA pick from Tony Brown. We're going to talk Clippers and the Warriors, 2 of your rival teams there in California.
One of our rival teams, the Warriors, suck.
Right now they do, but wait for it. So the Clippers, 43-20. Right. They lost to the Lakers, 112-103. We were talking about did not cover the 2 points. They were the favorite. They have won 6 of their last 10. They're 18-13 on the road, but they're cruising into the Warriors, who are 8-25 at home. They're 15-49 for the season. They've won 3 of their last 5. They've also won 3 of their last 10. So they're coming off a win against the 76ers, 118-114. What's the deal with Steph? I thought Steph's supposed to play. Steph's back. Steph's healthy. He's G League. What's going on?
So he came back. He made his debut versus the team they played before the Warriors. It slips my mind right now, before they played the Sixers. And he made his debut and they lost. Then he sits a game, they play the Sixers, and they win. And now he's questionable for this game. But either way, if he plays, if he doesn't play, he definitely won't be enough to carry him past a Clipper team and a mad Clipper team. The Clippers were 6-0 before they lost that game to the Lakers. They were rolling. They were, they thought they had the team built to finally beat LA, and then they lose. So they're going to be pissed off, and they're going to take it out on the Warriors. No let up, no pulling people in the fourth quarter, and they're going to bury the Warriors like the basement team they are.
Wow. What do you think of Kawhi as a Clipper? Are you loving it or are you hating it?
I love it. If he would have joined LeBron, they would have said that's the reason we won. Just because he brought the title to Toronto. I didn't want a bandwagon championship. Like, LeBron's the reason he's going to bring the title back to LA. No shade to Anthony Davis. I mean, he's a big part of it, but it's LeBron team still. And Kawhi Leonard is great competition. He thought just because he won over there in the East, where the East is very soft, he could just come make any team a title contender, and now he's going to see he should have stayed in Toronto.
Oh, goodness. We never mentioned the line on that. It's the Clippers minus 10.5. We still don't have a total, but you think it's like the Lakers?
Yeah, same like
just
the Laker game.
10.5?
Just target practice, lay that 10, and then they'll cover, win and cover.
All right. Tony B says take the Clippers. Lay all the points. Take the Lakers. Lay all the points.
All
just
the time.
Get a
all
pillow
we've done is won so
lay it
far.
down.
Yeah, it's just math, not magic.
I like that.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to do one more. This is the rodeo road trip. This is from my part of the country, y'all.
Should I let you take this one? I'm out of here.
Well, I want your opinion.
Okay.
You're the expert, Tony.
Let's see what happens.
Okay, so we're going to do the Dallas Mavericks, 39-26. It feels like their whole lineup is day to day. Like, everyone's got something going on, and you never know who's going to play when. They're just coming off of that, like we said, controversial loss against the Pacers, 112-109. I kind of feel like you were saying the Clippers are going to be ticked off.
Yeah.
I feel like the Mavericks are ticked off, too. Luka waited backstage, didn't even go dress out and into his regular clothes before the camera did. He stood there in his uniform waiting so he could gripe about the referees. They're 6-4 in their last 10. They hit the road 21-11 on the road. Now they're in San Antonio. 26-36 are the Spurs. 4-6 in their last 10. They've lost 2 straight. But they played 3 road games in a row. Last one was at Cleveland, where they lost in overtime, 132-129. We don't have a total on this yet, but I'm showing Dallas as a 3.5-point favorite in San Antonio.
Okay.
What do you think about this?
So this is a weird game right here, right? I mean, San Antonio is struggling. Dallas is the easy win on paper. But like how you don't like the kids that didn't go to college, I don't like the European players. And that's no shade to Europe, or it's not like a race thing or nothing like that. It's just that it's a different brand of basketball. And that's why Luka's crying so much. He's soft. Like, they hit Kobe all the time. They hit Jordan. Remember when they were doing the hack of Shaq? Shaq was like, if they hit me again, I'm going to break someone's arm. Like, quit crying. You know what I mean? Like, I stood there in my uniform. I waited to cry. Like, shut up. So I think that they're in his head. You know what I mean? And I think that this is going to have a carryover. But you can't take away that boy's skill. You know what I mean, brother? Yeah, he is
MVP.
The man. So I think they're going to win and cover, but barely. Like, this isn't a lay the house down. I think San Antonio's going to get in his head, but skill outweighs all that silly crap at the end of the day, and Luka can ball, and I think that Dallas will get the win and cover.
All right, so take Dallas minus the 3.5. So speaking of bloody noses, I'm going to use this to transition into that thing on your face right now.
I knew that was
because
coming.
my most remembered bloody nose ever was when Duke played UNC and Eric Montross got jacked in the nose and bled all over that court. So talk to me about the beard, Tony. I hear it has to do with a little Duke-UNC rivalry.
It does, it does. I mean, we stated on the show last week, you guys all know I'm a huge Duke fan.
And me too.
Right, from way back, and my boy is a Carolina fan. So we were going to see who went the furthest in the tournament, and we both had to no shave, no hair, no beard, no nothing. We were going to rock it out until the other teams lost, and then the other player had to rock it out through the entire tournament. So, you know.
Sounds itchy.
But, right, here's the catch. We just beat Carolina yesterday by 13, and I think this dude should concede to me. Like, Carolina's horrible. They might not even make the tournament. You know what I mean? Duke won, and Picks and Parlays, they didn't bring me here just for my picks. Like, I'm the face of this show. They brought me here for the women's demographic.
I'm the face of this show.
Really? Oh, they tricked me. I'm out of here again. No, I'm kidding. So, no, that's the bet. We can't shave until either Duke goes out or Carolina goes out. But if Carolina doesn't make it, I'll be back to my sexy self again.
I was going to say, what if Carolina never goes in?
Right.
I don't think they're going in.
Nah, they're suck.
Yeah, the ACC has 4 nationally ranked teams in them.
It's going to be tough. They're going to have to win
Carolina's
the ACC
dead
tournament.
last.
Yeah, they're going to have to win the
last.
ACC tournament for that automatic bid, and, you know.
That's not going to happen, y'all.
You never say never in sports betting, but
Tar Heels.
I think I can shave soon.
All right, we got like 30 seconds left. Tell them what's going on your site, on picksandparlays.net.
As always, you can come to the site and get all my picks and plays and packages, from daily plays to weekly to the monthly stuff. And right now, you got my March Madness special coming up, where we can get all my plays for the March Madness tournament, including the championship pick, for one low price. Just check out my handicapping page or the subscription tab at the site.
All right, that's fantastic. All right, Mr. Brown, it was a pleasure as always.
Cool. I mean, you guys got to turn the lights down. I'm sweating.
You are a little sweaty here. We need like the headband going on in here.
Man, put me under pressure this show.
It's because you're sitting next to me. Clearly, I'm hot and he's not. I
can't never hide anything from you.
All right, guys, we're going to be right back with the Lord of the Big Dance, Mr. Joe Duffy himself. Sit tight, and we'll catch you in a minute. Shoot, y'all caught me. All right, hi guys, welcome back to Picks and Parlays. It's our last segment, but it's my favorite one. We're gonna do some free college basketball picks with Mr. March himself. Mr. March, paging Mr. March. Joe Duffy, are you there?
I hope so. I'm here, Allie. Although I know that all the women dropped off who tuned in to see sexy Bookie Buster Brown, so we're left to talk, I guess, to the true college basketball fans.
That's all right, you know, because we're true college basketball fans. We know what's good for us.
Yeah, I'm going to hopefully give good information. I know I'm not as pretty as Bookie Buster Brown, but, you know, we'll try to give some equally effective information.
Well, you do sweat a lot less, so there's that.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
I guess so. Yes, all right.
So we are going to start off with some ACC, all right? This is kind of like the bottom of the barrel ACC, my favorite conference by far. You know, I'm a Duke fan and all that jazz. We don't have to go through that again. But yeah, so this is kind of the bottom of the barrel of this conference. We're going to go UNC and Virginia Tech. Now, the Tar Heels are dead last in the ACC. They're 13-18, just come off that loss to Duke, 89-76. They did win 3 before that, but they're 3-9 on the road, and that is where they're going to find Virginia Tech. 16-15, just lost at Notre Dame. They've only won 1 of their last 5, and because this is a conference tournament, they're going to be on the road also. Their record's 3-7. So I'm showing UNC as a small favorite, -3.5, and that total jumped from 140.5 all the way to 142. What do you got on this?
Yeah, well, Allie, it's an old adage that when I first got into this industry, they would always say, listen to what the odds makers are telling you. Essentially, a lot of my systems say that when a line is counterintuitive to the mere records, go with the statement that the odds makers are making. And as you said, UNC, they're a lower seeded team, yet they're a pretty, 3.5 is still a pretty large statement for a lower seeded team to be favored. Now, this game is in North Carolina, so you can make a strong and powerful argument. It's not a true neutral game, but UNC is traveling 43 miles, Virginia Tech just 87. So it's not like there's a big travel advantage. Still playing in their home state. There will definitely be more North Carolina fans.
They're in Greensboro?
Right, Greensboro.
Right.
Greensboro. So there will be more North Carolina fans. I'm quite confident of that. But here's the key, and this is why UNC is favored. They're as healthy as they've been all season. They lost 13 of the first 16 ACC games, but as you said, they've won 3 of their last 4. And in the game that they lost earlier when they met, it was in double overtime. North Carolina made only 7 of their 3-pointers on 22 attempts, and Virginia Tech was 14 of 37. Yet still, despite all that talent gone, they had to go to double overtime to win. The Tar Heels, they didn't have point guard Cole Anthony and guard Brandon Robinson in that loss, and these are 2 players who are back. Anthony averages 19.6 points per game, 4.0 assists, 3rd team all ACC, and would have been higher if he was healthy all year. Yeah. And in that game, and this also gets back to you said about the total going up because of the injuries, because their point guard was out. Their UNC had 0 fast break points in the last game. They're going to get a lot of fast break points in this game, and I think that's why the total has gone up. A lot of the sharps are aware of that. UNC in the independent predictions I have, they all have UNC winning, although by 1, 4, and 3 points. But UNC is a better team than they've been most of the year. They've gotten healthy at the right time. They do have what I like to refer to still as a neutral court advantage, so I will go with North Carolina.
I like it. And there's certain schools that just have this winning record that they are used to winning, and Roy Williams is one of those coaches that is expected to win, win these big tough games. And I think you're absolutely right. Cole Anthony is a huge difference maker, although I usually call him Anthony Cole when I talk about him. I'm not sure why. Okay, so the other ACC matchup we're going to talk about is Pitt and Wake. Yeah, all right. So Pitt is what? Go ahead. You go.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I thought you were ready for me. No, go ahead.
Okay, so Pitt and Wake. Pitt's 15-16. They have lost 7 straight. The last one was at Georgia Tech, 73-57. I mean, I'd like to say who loses to Georgia Tech, but who loses by that much to Georgia Tech? The road record is 2-9. They're only 1 above UNC at the bottom of the ACC, and above them is Wake Forest. Wake is 13-17, lost 2 in a row. Last one was at NC State. NC State's been doing some things lately. 84-64, lost by 20 points. On the road, they're 1-11. Seeing Wake is a 1-point favorite. 139.5 is the total. What do we do with this one?
Yeah, actually, Allie, losing to Georgia Tech isn't that much of a disgrace. They really finished the season quite strong. I think they won 7 out of the last 8 games or 6 of the last 7, something like that. And they got Upton and Alvarado back. So they were a much better team at the end of the year. But this is another one where Wake Forest, clearly with, again, a neutral court advantage. They're only traveling 25 miles. Pittsburgh is traveling 302 miles. But, this was fairly competitive. And, of course, it's only a 1-point spread. Pitt blew a 16-point first-half lead and lost during the regular season. But this is a game that, I kind of thought of you. I know you'd like to do the live betting. Pittsburgh's very good at forcing turnovers. I think that they're definitely going to put some, full-court press on Wake Forest. So I think there's going to be some adjustments. I wouldn't be surprised seeing some runs in here. So I think at some point during this game, you might be able to get, Pitt, plus 4, 5, 6 points. And maybe at another point, you might be able to get Wake Forest plus a couple points. So keep an eye on this from a live betting standpoint. Pittsburgh, though, has done surprisingly well in the ACC tournament. They've won a game 3 of the last 4 years, while Wake Forest just won since 2014. You know, the independent computer projections all do have Wake Forest, but with Pitt's history of actually coming to North Carolina and stealing a game, I'm going to go with, you know, that Pittsburgh actually having more success in this tournament lately, and I think that's going to surprise some people. So I look for Pittsburgh to pull off the very mild upset.
All right. Joe Duffy says take Pittsburgh and the point to pull off the upset. So before we hop over to the Big Ten, just a quick question. So ACC has 4 teams that are in the ACC's top 4 teams are all ranked nationally. Florida State, Virginia, Louisville, and Duke. Out of those 4, who do you think has the best shot to take down the ACC tournament, or is it somebody else altogether?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I think when you've got teams like that are definitely in there, I don't even know if they're going to go quite as all that. If winning the ACC tournament is as important as it was years and years ago, but again, Mike Krzyzewski, why would you go against him in March? He obviously has the talent, a lot of great freshmen. You know that I love the young teams because I say they peak late. So I'm going to probably make you, not just to make you happy, but if you're going to put me on the spot, I would say Duke.
All right. I like that a lot. Obviously. I haven't been I don't feel like Duke's team this year is like a typical Duke team. I've had kind of a hard time, I don't know, drinking the Kool-Aid on this Duke team, but I agree. Coach K is Coach K, man. It's March. It's his time to shine, and this is when everything typically gels for the Blue Devils.
Yeah, but you know, when Zion got healthy last year, they were expected to make a deeper run into the tournament. You know, just playing a little bit of the devil's advocate. So I think a lot of expectations.
The Blue Devil's advocate?
Oh, there you go. I didn't even mean to do that. And by the way, it only took me about a dozen times before I realized where the Bookie Buster Brown nickname came from. So that was an accidental one. But yeah, the Duke, you know, they've certainly disappointed in some years, but all in all, they're extremely well coached and they're very talented, and that's a heck of a combination this time of the year. And as I said, they're young, and I think young teams have the biggest upside.
Yeah, it's hard to compare this year with because last year was just stacked with superstars with Zion and RJ and Cam and yeah, this one we got Vernon Carey Jr. He's there.
Yeah,
and Trey.
Yeah, and obviously Zion being in and out of the lineup last year, I'd heard a little bit with the chemistry, but yeah, they were much more talented last year, but I would never count out your Blue Devils. But, you know, look, North Carolina is a team that I do think could certainly upset some teams. I mean, they're going to have to run the table.
No, I'm just kidding.
That's true. You have to be a North Carolina hater if you love Duke, but they're getting at least healthy at the right time, but they obviously clearly would have to win the tournament. I think, you know, as Wake Forest is probably before your time, but I remember Wake Forest with Randolph Childress. I believe he wound up carrying them as a very low seed to the ACC title at one time. That's what's going to have to happen to North Carolina. But as far as whether they're good enough to actually win the tournament, clearly, no, they would have to make a Cinderella run.
All right. I think my last Wake team I remember was my first Wake team I remember was Tim Duncan. Okay.
Yeah, and Randolph Childress was before your time, and I guess his son is on them right now. If I'm not mistaken, his son plays for Wake Forest.
I know that name though. I know that name, but not from many years ago. Okay, so let's divert. I like Florida State, by the way, and I have a future on them, like 18-1. I've had it all season. That's who I like. So let's move to the Big Ten.
Leonard Hamilton never gets appreciated.
Yeah, that's very true. Okay, so we're going to move into the Big Ten. Their games don't start, I think, until Wednesday, but let's do a little sneak preview, okay? Can we do that?
Yeah,
we're gonna go,
let's do it.
Let's do it. We're going to do Nebraska and Indiana. Now, we've talked a lot about Nebraska on this show. They're 7-24. They're very last in the Big Ten. They've lost 16 games in a row, 0-12 on the road. I mean, it's like the last game they played was against Minnesota. They lost by 32 points. Like, there's just not a lot of good things that you can say about Nebraska, except like maybe they look cool in their uniforms. I don't know. And they're going to play Indiana. The Hoosiers are 19-12. They just lost to number 1 in the Big Ten, Wisconsin, 60-56. Close game there at Wisconsin, for that matter. Indy has not been the greatest of home teams, so that's important. They've won 2 of their last 5. And they're kind of at home here because this game's in Indianapolis. 15-4 at home. I'm showing Indiana -12, and after the Nebraska beatdown, it doesn't seem like that's impossible. The line's at 143, or the total's at 143.5. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, this is, no, as you said, Nebraska has been atrocious at this point. I don't even think they could beat, the Portland School of Arts and Design. That's how badly they've been playing as of late. But
I went to that school.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know that. Well, I have a feeling that you guys could beat them outright, and I don't even know if you've got a basketball team, but you'd probably be an underdog. I would have you projected as a 7.5-point underdog still, but teams that have lost 16 in a row, and this is somewhat opposite of, I always talk about counterintuitive betting, and a lot of it says to bet on ice cold and bad teams, but not in this case. Teams that have lost at least 16 in a row and not playing on their opponent's home court are 49-32 fade, and if the streak is only 14, an 87-62 fade. So that would say to lay the big number on Nebraska. But on the other hand, neutral court teams playing in losing streaks of 9 or more, and if they're not laying points, are a decent play at 27-20. So that would favor Nebraska. However, even this pro-Nebraska angle is only 2-7 the last 10 years. Big, again, another neutral court advantage. This game is in Indianapolis. Indiana is going to be traveling 46 miles. Nebraska, 558. That being said, Nebraska was a little bit fairly competitive in the regular season meetings. They lost in overtime. They only lost by 8, but still. And, when you have a team that has to make a deep run, and they're going to be playing, 4 straight days if they make a deep run, you figure maybe they would rest their starters if they get a big enough lead. Still, Nebraska is just that bad. I'm going to have to go with the Hoosiers, more or less playing a home game.
Yeah. All right. So there you have it. The Lord of the Big Dance says, take the Hoosiers, lay all the points. Don't try to do anything fancy. Nebraska stinks. All right,
and if I may, I don't know I don't know if we have enough time to keep your eye on Deshaun Burke and Cam Mack. They're both questionable because of suspension, so that's going to affect the line as their status gets updated for Nebraska.
All right. Thank you for that tidbit. I will catch you next time. It's a pleasure as always. And you guys sit tight. I'm going to be right back to recap all of today's picks. Hey guys, welcome back. Thank you for joining us, sticking around. We had a really awesome show today. You got to meet 2 of our handicappers live, and the Lord of the Big Dance, of course, Joe Duffy. Let's recap all of those free picks that they gave to us today. We're going to start out with Chip Chirimbes and his NHL picks. In Tampa Bay at Toronto, he says take the Lightning. Nashville at Montreal, take it under 5.5 goals. Pittsburgh at the New Jersey Devils, take New Jersey plus 185. There's quite a bit of value in that money line for you. Boston at Philadelphia, take the Flyers minus 115 in that pick'em game. Ottawa at Anaheim, take it under 6 goals. The Islanders at Vancouver, take Vancouver minus 125. And the New York Rangers at Dallas, take Dallas minus 165. Next, we have Tony Triple B Brown with his NBA picks. Celtics at Pacers, take Indiana plus 1.5. Mavericks at the Spurs, lay the 3.5 points with the Mavericks. Clippers at Warriors, have to grab a pillow and lay 10.5 points with the Clippers. Grab another one and lay 11.5 points with the Lakers against the Nets. Finally, we finished it up with Joe Duffy and his college basketball picks. In UNC Virginia Tech, he says take UNC. Pitt versus Wake Forest, take Pitt plus 1 point. And in Nebraska at Indiana, you got to stay on Indiana. Don't pay attention to all those points with Nebraska. All right, guys, it was a great show. As always, thanks for joining us. Don't forget to check us out at picksandparlays.net, on our YouTube channel, Facebook, Twitter, just about anywhere you are. And don't forget to check me out. I'm Allie Burns. You can find me at +moneyhoney on Twitter. We'll catch you tomorrow, same time, same channel, right here on the Sports Byline broadcast, every Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. We're Picks and Parlays. Bet, win, repeat.